Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL STAR. Today I gonna discuss about FPL popular buy sell comparison and ranking of player based on their performance for Double Gameweek 36. So before starting, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel. Now let's start. I think for game week 36, the most essential player to buy is the Newcastle attacker, and you can go either for Isak or Wilson, whichever started for their match against Leeds. You can go for this, and I think Isak is now. I prefer Isak more than Wilson because I think Isak will play more minute than Wilson in game week 36 against Leeds away and Brighton home, and that's why Isak is the priority. Because if you look at the match against Arsenal, Isak played 90 minutes where Wilson are playing 82 minutes, and I don't think that against Leeds or Brighton they will play both Isak and Wilson because this doesn't work. And also San Maximum is now injury free, so he will play, and that's why I think you should go for one, at least one. You can go for two if you want to go for, but at least one you should be go for because they are the most viable captaincy choice for game week 36. Now move on to the third and fourth one, and I think for third one is Mitoma because other than Newcastle attacker Isak and Wilson, Mitoma is the best player. And if you look at their double gaming fixture is not ideal, like Arsenal away, Newcastle away to away match, but Brighton can score against any opponent and also can concede against any opponent, which we saw against Everton they concede 5 goals, but in this match Mitoma playing well. And if you look at his underlying data, like his goal ratio is 0.77, which is quite good. And if you don't have Mitoma, I think as March has some injury concern, he pulled his hamstring in last match, and that's why I think you can go for Mitoma by selling March. The fourth option is Stupinian, but I prefer Mitoma over because Mitoma is a good captaincy choice for game week 36, and I'm not totally convinced about Stupinian for clean sheet because they will play Arsenal away, Newcastle away, to hard fixer to maintain clean sheet. But Stupinian, as he got double game fixer, so he can obviously score a good number of points. And other thing about Stupinian that he playing very advanced for Brighton. Sometimes he playing more advanced than winger Mitoma, so that's a concerning thing for Mitoma. But I think Stupinian also a good option to go for, but it's not essential. He's a good buy for game week 36. Now I'll move on to the fifth and sixth one. The fifth one is McAllister. Before yesterday game, I think McAllister is in the priority list optional category, but now I think he's a good option because as Marsh is now injured, you need a player to replace him, and I think you should go for Brighton player because they have got double gaming in 36 and got double gaming in 37. In game of 36, the double gaming is not ideal. Like Arsenal and Newcastle are not good, but still they have double gaming. And if you look at other Brighton player in midfield, there is Bonanete, which are not totally convinced that he will start. Pascal Gross now playing as a right back, so that's also not ideal. And Kaiser also playing very deep. So McAllister playing deep in double pivot, but the thing about McAllister is good that he sometimes make run to the box and can obviously score. In last match, he got some headed chance, and I think he's a very good header. In last match, one of two of his chance quite bravely saved by Everton goalkeeper Pickford, and that's why other thing about McAllister that he's also the penalty taker. So a lot of things is positive for McAllister, but as he's playing deep, so that's why he's not essential, and he's a good option for game week 36. And I prefer Stupinian over McAllister because Stupinian will play, and he will play in left back position and playing advance and can get attacking return as well. He can get clean sheet point where McAllister cannot got clean sheet point, but he will play more advanced than Stupinian. The sixth one is Salah, and a lot of FPL manager are buying Salah, and I think it's a good player to buy because he's in great form. In last 5 matches, he got 37 points, scoring 4 goals, and his goal ratio is 0.91. But he doesn't have any double gaming for gaming 36 and 37, and that's why he's optional. He's playing well, but as he has not got any double gaming, so he is an optional choice for game week 36. Now move on to the 7th and 8th one, and 7th one is Alexander Arnold, and I prefer Salah over Alexander Arnold because Salah can give multiple return as he's an attacker. But on the other hand, Alexander Arnold also good, but as a defender, I don't think a lot of FPL manager gonna captain Alexander Arnold. But you can captain Salah in game week 36 if you still think that single gaming player will outscore double gaming player, but it's more unlikely. Alexander Arnold, on the other hand, can get attacking return because he's now playing as a double pivot and sometimes inverting right back position. So he making some good run in the box. Also, his cross is pinpoint. So that's a positive thing for Alexander Arnold. And he is returning in last 5 matches. In 3 matches, he got assist point, and in last 2 matches, he got clean sheet point. But in these 5 matches, he never got both clean sheet point and the assist point. If he can get it, then he will get bonus point, which is not happening. The 8th position player is Marcus Rashford, and I think against Wolverhampton he can cause a very good point because Wolves are not a very good team in away, and I think Rashford playing center forward or left wing, in either position he is playing well. But in last 4 matches he got 22 points, which is looks average, and his expected goal per 90 and expected assist per 90 is 0.52. This means his underlying data is okay, but the negative thing about Rashford that Manchester United are now not playing well. In last match they playing Bruno Fernandes in left wing position, which is not working for I think Manchester United. So I don't think they will play again Bruno Fernandes in the left wing position, and if this thing can happen, then I think Rashford is not a very good option, but still an optional option for game week 36. Now move on to the 9th and 10th buy, and a lot of FPL managers are buying Odegaard because in last 5 matches he got 44 points, but if you look at his goal win ratio is 0.52, which is quite similar to Rashford, and I think Odegaard now overperforming than his expected data. Previously a lot of managers have him, but he doesn't give any attacking return. Now a lot of FPL managers sell him, but now he's giving return, and that's quite annoying. But if you look at the transfer, a lot of managers buying him. I think it's an optional option because if you look at game week 37 and 38, their picture looks good, and Odegaard, I think when Gabriel Jesus is fit, Odegaard playing well because he's now playing as a second striker position. But the things about Odegaard that his underlying number are not so good as his actual number, so that's why he's an optional category and also doesn't have any double gaming in game 36 and 37. The 10th one is Joe Linton. A lot of FPL managers buying him, but I think you should ignore this kind of transfer because if you look at Joe Linton, he's playing in the midfield for Newcastle, and I think he's not quite advanced as a midfielder. I think Willock is more advanced than Joe Linton, and sometimes he's now playing in the left wing position. But if you look at now Newcastle lineup, I don't see that Joe Linton will play now because Stan Maxima is fully fit, so he can obviously play there, and Isak can also play there. So I don't think Joe Linton will start in the left wing position, and that's why you need not to buy Joe Linton, and you should ignore this kind of buy because his underlying market, like his expected goal range is 0.40, which is not good. So I think you should go for Newcastle attacker instead of Newcastle midfielder, and that's why you should ignore Joe Linton. Now move on to the sale category, and first essential player to sell in game of 36 is Tyrone Mings because I don't think he can get any clean sheet point from game of 36 to 38. Tottenham home, Liverpool away, Brighton away are not a fixer that Mings can get clean sheet, and that's why he's an essential sale for your team because a lot of double game week players are there in game 36 and 37. You can obviously go for them, and that's why you need to sell some of your defender. And if you still have Mings, I think his honeymoon season is now over, so I don't think that he will get a lot of points now, and that's why you should sell Mings, and he's the priority transfer here. The number 2 is Marsh. In the previous match he got injured against Everton. In first half he doesn't play for Brighton, and their manager Jardy says that Marsh is not in good condition to play, and he's not totally a good player now in his statistic wise. So that's why Jardy doesn't play him. But when they are lagging in from Everton, like conceding 2 or 3 goals, then they sent Marsh in the field, and he playing well in this match. But after a certain time, he make a miss pass and from that counter attack they score goal, and also Marsh want to run very quickly, and that's why he picked injury in hamstring. So now I think you should sell Marsh if you find that he will not play for game week 36 or 37, and if you find that he might miss an Arsenal game, then you can obviously don't need to sell Marsh, because when he will play in the right wing, and I think his underlying data doesn't look good, but he can improve this, and that's why he is a good sale for game week 36. But I don't think at present, as his injury news now totally not out, so that's why I don't think it's an essential sale for game week 36. Now move on to the third and fourth one, and it's Ben Me in the third position. And I think selling Ben Me is a good option for game week 36, because West Ham home is a fixture that Brentford can get clean sheet, but after that I don't think they will get, and you need some of your defender to sell, and I think Ben Me should be the one, because he doesn't possess any attacking involvement in goal, because his expected goal ratio is 0.06, when there are a lot of defenders have got a nice double game. You can also got a good attacking expected data, like Alexander Arnold got very amazing expected data, and also like Stupinian, John Stone. There are a lot of defenders, and that's why I think you need to sell Ben Me, because he doesn't have any double game. He can also got hard fixer in defensive point of view. The fourth one is Watkins, and I think you should sell Ben Me fast, because it's a defensive transfer, but Watkins on the other hand can obviously score against any opponent. So Tottenham are not defensively good team this season, so Watkins might score, and that's why he's a good sale. But I prefer sell Me fast than Watkins, and that's why Watkins in this priority list in fourth position and Ben Me in the third position. Now move on to the fifth and sixth one, and I think you should sell Watkins fast, and then if you want to sell Tony, then it's an one, because Watkins will play in game 36 against Tottenham, and Brentford will play West Ham. In paper, I think Tottenham is a hard match, so that's why you need to sell Watkins fast and Tony. And also Tony is one of the best forward this season. He's scoring a lot of points, where Watkins in few matches he was in good form and scoring point. Tony scoring in all seasons, so that's why he is in the fifth position and Watkins in the fourth position. So you need to sell Watkins faster than Tony, in my thinking. Now over to the sixth one, and it's Jack Grealish, and I think it's an optional option, because I think he will play against Everton. In last match of Manchester City he was rested, but I don't think that he will be rested for Everton away, as they are got title challenger Arsenal. So I think he will play, and he got his rest against his last match, so that's why I think in Champions League match he will also play, and that's why you need to sell. You don't need to sell I think Grealish, but you can obviously sell him, because there are some rotation risk from game 37 or 38. If Manchester City own the Premier League, then I think Jack Grealish will be rotated, because he's the main player for Manchester City. He doesn't get much rest this season, so you can obviously sell Jack Grealish. Now move on to the 7th and 8th position, and 7th position a lot of FPL managers are selling Saka. 59k managers selling Saka, and I think it's an optional option, because if you go for a double game midfielder, then it's perfectly okay. But one thing about Saka, that in Arsenal he is totally named, and in his position there are not a lot of players, so that's why Salah is not a good sale or essential sale. You can obviously sell him because of double game fixture of other team. And if you look at Saka's goal ratio is 0.60, which is good, but if you look at Martinelli is 0.72, so that's why I think you don't need to sell Martinelli, and it's an ignore sell. You can sell Saka, because other midfielder can outscore Saka, but Martinelli against Brighton he can be a vital option, because if you look at Arsenal playing in big match when there are counter-attacking opportunity, then Martinelli is a good player, because in counter-attacking he has lightning speed and he can scoring goal, and that's why he is ignored. On the other hand, Saka is optional sale, and you should ignore selling Martinelli for this reason. Now move on to the 9th and 10th position, and in 9th position a lot of managers are selling Rashford, but I don't think it's a good move, because he's playing well. His underlying data is okay, 0.52, which is not good for like Saka or Martinelli, but I still think that Manchester United main player is Rashford. So if Manchester United score, then I think there will be involvement for Rashford most probably, and he has also got double game, where Arsenal doesn't have any double game, so that's why I think you should sell Saka or Martinelli first if you think, but I don't think you need to sell Martinelli. Then I think at last you should sell Rashford. I think for selling priority, Saka is the most obvious sell, most optional sell, but then Martinelli, then Rashford, and I I will tell you that you should ignore selling Jota, because if you look at his underlying number, like his goal ratio is 1.06, which is very good for an attacker, and he's now totally fit. And Liverpool are going for top 4 position, so they will play their best 11, and I think Jota will obviously play. And Leicester defensively are not a very good team, and that's why you should ignore this kind of sale. And he is the most uh, most likely not likely player that I am not thinking to selling, and that's why he is ignore sell, and he is the most priority not selling player. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video, and if you are new in this channel, obviously please subscribe this channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon, because there are a lot of FPL content this season or also in the next season, so you need to subscribe this channel. And good luck for your team.